Transportation is the lifeblood of every modern economy. Its impact is far-reaching and its scope is dynamic, not only in regard to economic development and our livelihoods, but also with our lifestyles, our cultures, and the way we express ourselves and interact with others. Autoglobe Total Transport Programme is the half-hour show that makes sense of all the issues and all the trends pertaining to the world of transportation. On Autoglobe, we understand that you are going somewhere. Watch Autoglobe every Monday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. and let's go places together. Only on this station. Autoglobe, a step ahead.
Hello there. This is Autoglobe Total Transport Programme, your favorite transportation showcase on television. My name is Austin Iyang. On Tuesday, September 26, 2023, the Nigerian Society of Engineers, Lagos branch, held an annual public lecture, award ceremony, and induction of new members at the Akoka Campus of the University of Lagos. The theme of the public lecture was Railway as a Fulcrum for Nigeria's Prosperity. It was graced by personalities like the Managing Director of the Nigerian Railway Corporation. In his address of welcome, the chairman of the Lagos branch of the NSE, Engineer Adekunle Bello, rejoiced in the revival and the resurgence of the rail sector as a critical factor in the transportation ecosystem in Nigeria and as a driver of development. He recalled a time not so long ago when rail was a major driver of Nigeria's development, but he also lamented the neglect the sector has suffered over the 4 or so decades of Nigeria's history. The current resurgence calls for celebration as well as a re-strategizing, especially using the opportunities as well as addressing the challenges inherent in the sector.
It is a great pleasure to welcome you all to this wonderful occasion, the annual public lecture award and induction ceremony of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Lagos branch. Public lecture. The theme for the public lecture is tagged Railway as a Fulcrum of Nigerian Prosperity. Railway transport system is often regarded as a wheel of economic activities because of the crucial role it plays in creating alternative and cheaper means of transport, reducing pressure on the road as well as money spent annually on road maintenance and also add to the GDP of the nation. The contribution of the railway transport system in economic development cannot be overemphasized. Recently, the Lagos State government, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, flagged off the commercial operation of the first phase of Blue Line Rail in the state. The Blue Line Rail will move from Marina to Mile 2 as the first phase, will transport about 250 passengers daily when it's fully operated. There is no doubt that this will stimulate inter-trade and commerce and also promote other economic activities in and around Lagos State. Given the enormous benefit of railway system to national development, the federal government should not hesitate in expanding the investment in railway system in the country. And with the recent removal of the rail system from the exclusive list, each state has the permissions to formulate rail system that could bring development to their state with a regional plan that stimulates economic activities from region to region so as to save our road infrastructures from total collapse.
Transportation is the lifeblood of every modern economy. Its impact is far-reaching and its scope is dynamic, not only in regard to economic development and our livelihoods, but also with our lifestyles, our cultures, and the way we express ourselves and interact with others. Autoglobe Total Transport Programme is the half-hour show that makes sense of all the issues and all the trends pertaining to the world of transportation. On Autoglobe, we understand that you are going somewhere. Watch Autoglobe every Monday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. and let's go places together. Only on this station. Autoglobe, a step ahead.
The keynote address at the event was delivered by the Permanent Secretary at the Lagos State Ministry of Transportation, Engineer Hafiz Toriola, who was represented at the occasion by a director in that ministry, Engineer Olasukomi Ojowuro.
We all know the importance of railway in Nigeria or everywhere in the world. is a catalyst for development, because with transportation, when transportation is effective, when it's efficient, when it's seamless, it moves the economy. So for countries who have understood this, they have done a lot to ensure that the movement of people, raw materials and items from point of origin to destination using coaches and wagons on a fixed track of 2 metal frames, or on steel or concrete crossbars known as slippers, and rested on enormous heap of ballast stones on a track formation called track bed. That is just the definition of what rail transport is all about, and it is efficient for the movement of people, goods and services. It represents an improvement in public transportation, because before the advent of railway transport, it had just been road and maybe maritime. All over the world, we have railway system functioning in 194, in 62 countries all over the world, and the system in those countries, is about 194. And what this means is that we have an increase from what we have in 2014, which is the fastest or longest. Is the Shanghai Metro, spans over a distance of 803 kilometers and has the highest annual ridership of about 2.8 billion trips, while the New York City subway has the greatest number of stations. They have 402 stations as at the year 2021. But China is still leading with the highest number of metro systems, with 40 in operation. Now, the Lagos experience. In 1983, the first executive governor of Lagos State came up with the idea of the metro line, and unfortunately, it didn't see the light of the day. But then he said, "We are making history today. 100 years from now, generations yet unborn will thank us for the wisdom in establishing this project. I dream of a comfortable future, and I thank God for making me and this administration instruments for this future." That was his dream. So let's see. He said 100 years, 2 weeks ago. This is what the incumbent governor of Lagos said. He said, "I couldn't hold my excitement while talking about the upcoming red line rail as we unveiled blue line rail today, knowing we are making critical strides in fully putting Lagos on track." And these are, what he said. 1983 to 2023, how many years? 40 years. But it's good to dream. Later, like Latif Jakonde dreamed 100 years. But in 40 years, 60 years less than 100 years, the dream was partially actualized. Now, the revolution. What we're trying to do. Tram service, then, rather, in 1902, there had been a form of tram service, very light form of rail from, Mido to Lagos Island. Then the first metro that not really see the day during Alaji Latif Jakonde, when he said in 100 years. Then we now have the first blue line rail from Maitu to Marina with 5 stations. It is powered by electricity. It is the first in sub-Saharan West Africa. I think we need to give them. Then the green line, Marina to Lekki, it's meant to be a passenger service train. Of course, it's light. But we're now beginning to think that if Lekki Deep Seaport should commence operation fully, if Dangote Industries should commence operation fully, don't forget that is also Lagos Free Zone. If all the clusters of industries we have there start to operate, we'll have that problem that we are having in Apapa now will likely come out there. So, because our consultants and we're looking at this, how can we make it, a rail that can take both passenger and goods because there are specifications for that.
The gathering also featured an award ceremony as well as an induction of new members.
All members being inducted will read out this. Please do.
I have, before everyone present at this ceremony, pledged and sworn to uphold and defend the memorandum of association of the Nigerian State of Engineers, to conduct my engineering practice with discipline, sincerity, and fairness, and to show interest in the affairs and welfare of my fellow engineers and members, so help me God.
On the sidelines of the annual public lecture, award ceremony, and induction of new members of the Nigerian Society of Engineers Lagos State branch, we took some of the attendees to task on the issues concerning rail as a factor in Nigeria's prosperity going forward.
Rail system in Nigeria has been long, and we all know that it is very important that moves from one level to the other. Because when I was still young, I traveled by rail from Lagos to Abeokuta through Ibadan, and then it makes things easier. But over sometimes it was left as abandoned. In fact, there was sometimes in Ido, all the coaches there were just neglected, because I knew when I was chairman of branch here, we were at Ido more than 3 times or 4 times. We were discouraged. We were forced to look at what's going to happen with railway. In fact, then people want to say they should start selling those tracks and so, but we said no, because we never knew that things can change. And we thank God that as of today, we have been seeing changes of things from the federal level, and which is the fulcrum for all changes in our system. Everything still go back to the government. Government should realize the fact that they must set up a certain thing that to be of progress to whatever we're doing. Even this rail we are talking about.
Particularly, I'd like to thank Lagos State government for keeping hope alive with the renewal of the rail system, particularly in Lagos State. I must say, for us that are professionals in the field, we expect government not to relent on their effort, because this is the only railway system, is the only transportation system that can solve 90% of communal transportation from one place to the other. In particular, I will expect that Lagos government will fast track not only the red line that is upcoming, but they should also ensure the haulage system on the train is given priority. That is the only way the road system being constructed can be durable. As long as we allow the tankers and the haulage to ply this road and competing with passenger vehicles, there's no way we are going to have a durable road. There is no amount of concrete road or anything that will allow us to have a durable road. In advanced country where all of us, especially our government official, goes to, you can see most of the haulage are carried by trains, and then the train for communal transportation will be for pleasure when you want to see the interland. I was in Belgium, I was in Canada, and what I discovered is that the train move across the back of the town such that you see the whole city. So we'll be looking towards Lagos State government and Nigeria, federal government of Nigeria in particular, going towards that. My own expectation is that our discussion should focus on the next thing, haulage system through the train. All the tankers should go through the train. We should not see them on the road, except just to deliver to the final point of sale.
My expectations for engineers is that there are several opportunities for engineers in this dispensation in the development of Nigeria. If you look at the railway system, the transportation system in Nigeria, Lagos State is the pace setter in terms of transportation system, in terms of the waterways, in terms of the airspace, in terms of the railway, and different aspects of the transportation system. It's now airtime for engineers. Engineering is about problem solving. Engineering is about nation building. And if you look at all the spaces in the transportation space, you find out that it's mostly for engineers to be able to take up that space, look at how they can design more systems, how they can improve on the systems, how they can maintain the systems, and also the supply chain of materials and parts of the rail system. So it's a call time for engineers. It's a good time for engineers. It has been a source of concern for engineers, but there are two ways to look at that particular issue. I must say this: I was on the Ministerial Task Force on Expiratory Quota and Business Permit in the last 4 years, and looking at the analysis that we're able to come out with, we found out that a lot of expiratory come in and they overstay their time based on the fact that the permits they give them is for the first 2 years, and if you are supposed to train the trainer and give the expertise to the local engineers, and that is not coming up. So one of the things that is very, very prominent is in two dimensions. One, in order not to encourage the expatriate to continue to stay in the country, the engineers need to up their game also. We need to be able to enter the space of that expertise that is being required by us, and we need to compete favorably with other organizations within and outside the country in terms of the expertise that we actually need. It is not far-fetched that even if you go to other countries, you find out that other countries also come to compete. So it is not only in Nigeria alone that you find other countries that are not in Nigeria competing for projects, especially projects that are, of higher magnitude. There must be a place of fair play in terms of having businesses and projects that are highly competed for both within and outside Nigeria. But where we have issues is basically that when they give the expertise, the Nigerian engineers are supposed to be on the studies, and then they are supposed to leave the stage while the understudies take over from them. That is where we have the issues between the engineers and the foreigners and the expatriates. One of the things that is very required of us, and we are also working on, is to give some services to the government pro bono, give ideas, give the research and development of the engineering bodies to be able to say, oh, we are able to contribute so and so into the space of transportation, into the space of railway, airspace, and also the waterways.
The improvement you are talking about, you said is steady. Well, I will not say it's steady, in the sense that the political will is what is required for this development to continue. Luckily enough, we have that the previous administration was also interested, and the same party also continued. So it therefore means that there is continuity, so to say. But I also want to mention that the old line also should not be neglected. We are looking more into the standard gauge, which is the new one, and if you look at it, the standard gauge is more like it's urban based, so to say, and it's only the one in Warri Itakpe that was in existence, which had passed through some villages and towns, that is now enjoying that facility. But for the new ones, like you see the Lagos Ibadan, you look at it as if it's more or less an urban based. But you look at the old line, it's more like the economic line, from which the colonialists draw their raw materials and take their finished products either from the port or back to the port, as it were. So there's need for us to also look at that, because the two lines can also go pari passu. They can be used. That is the narrow gauge running and the standard gauge also running. Looking at the 25-year strategic plan of the government, if it is possible, you see that we are lagging behind. It started in 2002 and is supposed to have ended by 2027. But this is 2023, in 4 years' time. If you look at it, we have not gone beyond the system modernization, which is what is supposed to have been completed by 2016. So with that, you will now notice that it's not steady, so to say. Then talking about the synergy between the Lagos State and the Nigerian Railway, I think it's been a very good relationship, and we want to say railway on its own is also very accommodating, because we have a section of the line that they are going to also be using as part of their operations. That's the red line, as it were. The blue line is already operational, as I was told, and the railway was also supposed to also would have inspected and all those. Then the red line that is ongoing, some of our stations are also being used. Like I mentioned, the Mobolaji Johnson, that's the Butemeta, then Agbado and the Keja.
Our expectation is that we have developed what we call track access framework that will make it easier for those states that are lucky to have the rail. We need it to be used, and that's one way of preventing vandalization. Because if we run the once a train that we run from Lagos to Kano, it's not enough. The track has to be used at least very frequent. That will, those who had bad minds will not think why, since it's serving the purpose it's made for. So we are trying to preach that. We have Plateau, we have Kaduna, we have Osun, and some other states in the east are also trying to key in. So it's easy. We are ready to make the track available, as we did for Lagos on the red line, to other people. So we hope by so doing, instead of looking for money to do the rail, they can still do the rail to anywhere they want, but we are encouraging them to patronize the one that is in place presently by providing the rolling stock. The states. Yes. Yes.
What synergy do you see with private sector?
Or private sector will be encouraging them. You see, the difference between private sector and public sector is that the private person want to make profit. Yesterday, they don't have that patience. We just forget about all these things they talk about. And the rail industry is not like that, because you have to invest. A locomotive is about $4.5 million, one, before you talk about the coaches and you pay your staff to do all those things. So they come, we open up to them, they say they are coming. So but we try to encourage them to come. So I don't deceive myself. So that is the true position. And it's only where we tell ourselves the basic fact that we can move forward. Yeah.
And that has been the show today. I hope you join me next week on the Autoglobe Total Transport Programme on this station at this time. My name is Austin Inyang, bidding you a wonderful week ahead. Bye-bye and God bless.
Transportation is the lifeblood of every modern economy. Its impact is far-reaching and its scope is dynamic, not only in regard to economic development and our livelihoods, but also with our lifestyles, our cultures, and the way we express ourselves and interact with others. Autoglobe Total Transport Programme is the half-hour show that makes sense of all the issues and all the trends pertaining to the world of transportation. On Autoglobe, we understand that you are going somewhere. Watch Autoglobe every Monday afternoon at 2:30 p.m. and let's go places together. Only on this station. Autoglobe, a step ahead.